Okay, I just kicked Bo out and I have about 15 minutes before Georgia wakes up. So here are 5 things that we did before we left the city to get to the homestead. We had a 2,000 square foot home right in the suburbs of Houston. It was so big and we had storage in every closet and in every attic and in the garage. It was overwhelmed, overstuffed with stuff. So the first thing that we did was we downsized. We went through room by room looking at things that we loved, things that we could live without, and we made totally different piles in each room. After room by room, we went through those piles and we double checked, is this something we want? Is this something we can use when we move? And this was probably about a year before we moved on to the homestead. At the end of the day, we'd cut all of our stuff in half, and downsizing wasn't just for the sake of having less stuff, but having more time to do things that we wanted instead of managing all of the things that we managed to carry with us to the homestead.
What is this?
What do we do with all these?
Number 2, second thing we did before we got to the homestead, we took all that stuff and then we sold it. We always want to make something better, and one of the best ways that we could do things moving on to the homestead was create just a little bit of extra income wherever we walked. So all of that stuff from the we could live without this pile went onto Facebook Marketplace. It went into specialized Facebook groups like the video gear that had been stored in the attic for years that we were never going to use again. There was baby stuff that we could sell in baby groups. What we needed to do was very oriented into where we were going, which was the homestead. So number 3, find land. Find land. It can be a place that you're leasing out from someone. It could be a place that you're buying. It could be family land that you move on to, but you need to know where you're going. We talk about this a lot in our homestead course. If you don't have a target, you're going to miss it every single time. So having a plan of where we were going was really important. We had shopped around our area. Bo probably treated this like a hobby. Like he would look something up online and we'd go somewhere within a day's drive just to go take a look at maybe 1 or 2 acres. And it was a fun thing to do as a family. We'd grab a drink from the Sonic and then drive around. And then one day, again, probably a whole nother video, Bo was online searching for lands and he found a place that was between our home in Houston and my parents' home in Dallas. And so we went and checked that out, and that's the 7 acres that we're on right now. This brings me to number 4 and will help us zoom right into number 5. If we wanted to get to the homestead, it was great to have a place to go, but without a way to finance that, we were still going to be stuck in the suburbs visiting our property as like a vacation spot. We would come here and we would camp a couple times a year because we bought it back in 2015. But even before then, 2013 was when we started our first residual income business. So my number 4 is have a way to fund your homestead. Maybe you have a super rich uncle that you just were great friends with and he just recently gave you a bunch of money for you to start your dreams. That would be amazing, but it probably isn't as likely as your availability and your opportunity to create side income now while you're still working your day job and saving up for your homestead. So residual income looks like something that you work at now, a project that you love that continues to pay you while you go work at another project. So for Bo, the very first thing that we did when we were married was he created these smaller video clips almost that could be used in sermons. And he posted those videos onto a stock footage website. And so every time a different pastor would download that video, we'd get a small check. It's probably been 12 years and we're still getting very small checks from that, even though Bo hasn't created them in a really long time. We also started an essential oil business back in 2013, and that continues to pay our bills even today. Bo began YouTube a few years just after that, and that again has become residual income. So look at something where you pour your time into it now and then it pays you in dividends in the future. This brings me to number 5. It's totally free. All it's going to cost you is time, which is going to become a really precious commodity, especially as you move on to your homestead. What we did with our time was skill up. We were such city slickers. There is not a single thing that we do here that we were skilled at 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We were just your very typical, if you're bored and you have nothing you want to cook in your house, go out to eat. If you have something that's broke, just hire the person who needs to fix it. Our most embarrassing story about fixing something was when our refrigerator stopped cooling. And we couldn't figure out, we plugged and unplugged, couldn't figure out why this thing wasn't cooling. The freezer was working, but the fridge wasn't. And so we called the fridge repair guy. He came in, and in one moment, he opened up our refrigerator. He looked in the back. He moved a plastic bag from in front of the vent and then charged us $150. We call that stupid tax. And from that moment was probably the beginning of when Bo was like, I am not paying stupid tax when I have YouTube and can learn everything I need. So some of the skills that he practiced before we left the city was he fixed our garbage disposal. It was broken. He watched a YouTube and he fixed it. He had built a few things like garden beds, a stool that we still use today in our house. He built our rabbit hutches. Each of these things added up to become a skill set of being confident with these power tools that he'd never learned to use before. And you might be watching thinking, man, I know how to use power tools. But what is something that you could use on the homestead you'd really like to sharpen or refine or feel more confident in as a skill before you get there? Because I guarantee you, you can read all the books, you can watch all the videos, and when you get to putting your hand to that work, there will be some troubleshooting that you have to do that's really going to make all the difference when you've practiced it before. So you can really put that practice to work right there. A couple other things that we learned were canning. You can can even if you don't grow anything. Go to your local farmer's market, pick up some cucumbers, and then can them. You can do that right there, and you don't even have to have special equipment for pickles. So get to work, get your hands at a new skill. We grew a garden. Some easy things that you guys can do right now are tomatoes. You can grow herbs, simple things that don't take up a lot of space, but that are easy to get fruit in at the end. And you're gonna feel so rewarded, not only right there in the city, but on your journey to the homestead. You're gonna just be gathering these skills and putting them in your pack, and then you're gonna be able to put them to work when you get to your property. So to put a bow on this before I'm running inside to go feed a baby, I just want to tell you, you can do this right where you are. You can grab skills and put them to work. You can start getting better at the things that you'd like to refine and hone in on. You can build an additional income. You can search for your land. Make it fun. Make it a whole adventure of finding out what it is that you like or what you love about an area or what you want in the property itself or neighbors or whatever. You can create a lot of movement even now while you're waiting to get on your property. You don't have to wait to get started. There's so much that you can do right here, right now. So right now I'm gonna run in and see that sweet baby, and you guys get to work. I can't wait to hear what you do with all the things that we've showed you today, and then see how you put them to action.